At the end of January, I released the first installment of the Monster Jam monthly recap, recapping all the Monster Jam action occurring over the month of January of 2023. And after missing the end of February, I'm here to combine the month of February and most of March into one big video. This is the Monster Jam monthly recap, February and March 2023. Let's begin today's recap with Arena Championship Series West. This series continues to prove interesting as it starts to wind down with only 20 rounds of competition left to go, with rounds 38 and rounds 39 this weekend in Little Rock. Liners in England have continued to slug it out, however an interesting pattern begins to emerge. England has either almost exclusively dominated a weekend, like back in Fargo, North Dakota, or a show will have a diverse pool of winners, such as the week after in Denver, Colorado. Many drivers have started to claim even more wins and assert themselves higher into the championship series standings. One of the newest rookies to the circuit, Ashley Sanford, has already picked up her first career win in Monster Jam by winning the donut competition for Event 2 in Wichita, Kansas. In terms of points, Tristan England leads the series by 55 points as Elvis Linus continues to catch up in the hopes of trying to win the series. Comparing the two stats shows just how well Tristan England is performing this season compared to Elvis Linus. 60 total wins, including overall event championships, as well as more wins in the skills and donut competition categories, as well as the overall event championships. However, Elvis Linus to me has been more consistent with high place finishes. He has a better racing record and a higher freestyle average score. Tristan England does, however, have the higher average skills challenge score, and it is the highest out of all drivers who have participated this season. With only 20 rounds left to go, you can for sure expect the tour to get all the more interesting as the season progresses. Next up is Arena Championship Series East. The tour has so far completed 41 out of the 67 rounds on the series as they head into rounds 42 through 46 this weekend in Grand Rapids, Michigan. For almost every weekend since Belmont Park, it has almost exclusively been won by Weston Anderson in Gravedigger, similar to how he performed last year. After a few weeks of getting used to competing and being behind the wheel, Weston really came into form last year, and now with a full year behind him, he's been doing that since Event 1. Points remain close despite the championship leader, Weston Anderson, a solid 189 points ahead of second place. Dalton Widener has been quietly creeping up on Armando Castro. If I were to make any guesses for how the series might play out, I would go as far to say that if Dalton Widener continues what he's been doing so far this season, then he may very well easily overtake Castro for second place on Arena Series East. When comparing statistics, it's clear that Weston Anderson has been on another level this year. 75 total wins this season so far, and the only competitions that he hasn't had the most success in has been racing or timed racing. Those competitions continue to be won by Dalton Widener, Armando Castro, or in some cases, Hunter Souza or Bernard Light. I wouldn't be surprised if Weston Anderson clinches the series title with only a few more rounds to go in the coming month. Arena Championship Series Central has probably been the most consistent in terms of points. The tour has so far completed 37 out of the 45 rounds on the series as the series points starts to wind down. Only 3 more weekends will be for points as Green Bay, Wisconsin on April 15th and April 16th will be the championship weekend as the rest of the tour will compete in not-for-points events. The results, like Arena Series East, have remained fairly diverse, as drivers like Brandon and Michaela Talachka, Cody Saucier, Zach Garner, and Jamie Sullivan have been picking up many wins across the many different shows. The most interesting part of the series championship has been that both trucks from the Garner camp, Terminal Velocity and Wildside, are now in second and third place in the series championship ahead of drivers like Tony Oakes and Cody Saucier. Saucier has unfortunately dropped to 5th due to his absence in Providence and Oaks hasn't won a single competition win since Allentown at Event 3's freestyle competition. Still, Zimmer Jr. is only 48 points behind Brandon Vincent, and he has been just as consistent as Vincent has been. Zimmer Jr. has 6 racing wins compared to Vincent's 5, however Vincent has more time racing wins, 3 to be exact, compared to Zimmer Jr.'s 1. Vincent also has 22 skills challenge wins compared to Zimmer Jr.'s 11. Zimmer Jr. has 10 donut competitions compared to Vincent's 1, but Vincent still has more freestyle and overall event championships compared to Zimmer Jr. Heading into the historic weekend in Louisville, Kentucky at Freedom Hall this weekend, with only 3 more points events to go, I think it's safe to say that unless Zimmer Jr. can sweep the remaining 8 events for points, that Brandon Vincent will be the very first driver with an automatic berth to the Monster Jam World Finals in Nashville this July. Stadium Championship Series Blue has remained to be one of the more interesting point series as the tour has continued to heat up. So far, this series has completed 17 rounds out of 22, with only 5 more events for points remaining. Like some of the Arena series we covered, results have been quite diverse, but some events have been completely dominated by Tyler Menninger and Ryan Anderson. What has started out as a Menninger masterclass has turned into a free-for-all as drivers pick up big wins to better their championship chase. Drivers like Ryan Disharoon and Chris Kohler especially have been having some of the best seasons of their entire career. At Anaheim Event 4, Disharoon would win racing before heading to El Paso Event 1 and claiming his first ever overall event championship. Chris Kohler, however, in just his first full-time season, has claimed a racing competition win in Arlington and a skills and freestyle competition win at Anaheim Event 6. Chris is still due for an overall event championship, but only time will tell. The biggest story I would say for this tour has to be the ongoing situation with the El Toro Loco truck, with Mark List resigning mid-tour, denying the various rumors and stating it was due to family reasons. It has definitely created some interesting driver pairings and situations with who will be behind the wheel of the truck on a given weekend. So far, we've had Charlie Porkin fill in for Anaheim events 5 and 6, El Paso and Arlington, and now Chelsea Van Cleve for Nampa and Vancouver, as well as the upcoming weekends in Seattle and Glendale. This mystery continues to unravel each week. It is still unknown who will drive the truck for events beyond Glendale. However, with the recent discovery of the Cody Saucier driver card we covered in an older news video, it is entirely possible that once Arena Series Central has wrapped up, that Saucier will be returning to stadiums to drive El Toro Loco. In terms of comparing wins, do keep in mind that some of Menninger's wins include his time in non-points arenas such as Vancouver this past weekend and Nampa last weekend, which has seen him almost exclusively dominate, with Ryan Anderson not competing in those shows. Regardless, the tour continues to heat up as the tour returns to points action on April 1st in Seattle, Washington for round 18 of Stadium Series Blue. And our final tour that we will be recapping is Stadium Championship Series Red. The tour has completed 16 out of 21 rounds with only 5 more for points events left to go. The tour's results have been even more interesting than Stadium Series Blues have been, with Adam Anderson reclaiming the series lead from Camden Murphy as the tour starts to wind down. Finally, it seems that both Tom Meents and especially Todd LeDuc are back to fighting spirit after both having awful starts to their 2023 season. After winning in Miami, he has not won a single competition until Detroit Event 1, where he would do the unthinkable and have a complete clean sweep, winning all 3 competitions and the overall event championship. Tom Meents has done slightly better, remaining very consistent but still picking up wins along the way. His win in Minneapolis might be his best yet, dedicating his first racing win in over 2 years to his late father, Bill Meents. In almost a similar fashion to the last video, the statistics between the top 3 in the points remain almost the same. Murphy has 4 racing wins compared to Anderson's 3, and Ment's singular win in Minneapolis. All 3 drivers have 4 skills wins. Adam Anderson has 9 freestyle wins compared to Murphy and Mentz's 2, as well as having 8 overall event championships compared to Murphy's 3 and Mentz's 2. These next 5 rounds are crucial for all 3 drivers. Anderson needs to continue what he has been doing in order to remain the points leader and eventual series champion. However, Murphy and Mentz need to pray that one another, and especially Adam Anderson, suffers truck problems and can have the same dominance that Adam has been displaying in these remaining 8 rounds. The next month of April and especially May will prove interesting as all 5 tours start to wind down. With select events scheduled for June, most of the drivers will be preparing themselves for the 22nd Monster Jam World Finals in Nashville, Tennessee. And well, that's all we have for you today. Thank you everyone all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon with some more Monster Truck content.